I'll get you to pronounce your name just so I can pronounce it as correctly as...
Tarek, T-A with a Rick.
Okay.
It's as simple as that. Tarek and Fatah.
Tarek Fatah.
F-A-T-A-H.
Okay, great. And you're with the Muslim Canadian Congress, correct?
Yes, I'm on their board, but my comments were in my capacity as the author of Chasing a Mirage.
Okay. Yeah. What I was going to ask you is, you've been following the Mark Steyn case pretty closely, and correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding is you disagree with Steyn's comments, but you feel he should have the right to express them.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, if that was not there, what would Canada be?
Okay.
What the Canadian Islamic Congress and the Islamists are doing are hitting at the absolute core of what we relish as democratic society.
Yes.
And they know it very well, why they're doing it. And my feeling is, and I could be wrong, but they're trying to trigger a backlash against Muslims. So the Imams and the Hamas and Hezbollah people would back in the Middle East say, look, we told you the West is at war with Islam. And it's acting like agent provocateurs and trying to upset ordinary Canadians who, by any stretch of the imagination, are some of the most accommodating people anywhere in this world. But yet they want to promote this fiction or mythology that Muslims are suffering in the United States and Canada.
Yeah.
And that is why I, made my remarks on the forum, because it can very easily descend into anti-Muslim anger.
Yes.
And hopefully, as you notice, most of the debate for 3 days, and there are a lot of Americans there as well, has been sometimes funny, sarcastic, angry.
Yes.
But it has taken absolutely no turn against Islam or Muslims.
Yes. How do, have you received much support from the Islamic community?
There's nobody there. They tried to arrange a demonstration against McLean's outside the court.
Yes.
And not a single person turned out.
Oh.
I've made mention of the fact that the main witness, the young lawyer who stood up, the night before the inquiry, he started phoning around the Muslim youth groups and wanted to arrange for a demonstration. And Vancouver has a very large Muslim community.
Yes.
And so not a single person turned out at that demonstration. So it just tells you that the vast majority of the Muslim community are sick and tired of these crybabies. We have a good life in this country. We have problems, but so does everyone else, and for them to depict Canada and its premier news weekly as anti-Islamic is sad and unfair, and will create repercussions of ill will against the community. So if at all there is or will be Islamophobia, the Canadian Islamic Congress and Muhammad al-Masri would have contributed immensely to it.
So you think there may be an anti-Muslim backlash, not because of the article, but because of the reaction of certain individuals?
No, because of the stupidities of these people who came there. And look at how insulting it was that the complainant refused to testify.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about today whether Mr. Habib testified or not, but if you have a complaint, you go to a commission and you say, I'm not going to allow myself to be cross-examined.
Yes.
What will it do? It will lead for ordinary people to get angry at you. And then these people will label that anger, which is justifiable, and say, prove their point that there is Islamophobia when none exists in Canada.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, you yourself, do you practice as a Muslim?
Yes, I am. I'm a practicing Muslim.
Okay. And is there a place for Muslims in Canadian society?
Oh, we are part and parcel of this. We've been here about 100 years. We have members of parliament right across the country.
Mm-hmm.
We have the trade union movement. The Secretary General of the Canadian Labour Congress is a Muslim. The CEO of the largest telecommunication company is a Muslim. Some of the most prominent writers are Muslim. We have comedians, we have dancers and artists.
So it sounds to me like Muslims are integrating fairly well within Canada.
Absolutely. It's just that the very ugly part of our community is the most recognizable part.
Okay.
So
why do you think that is?
Because one of my criticisms of the mainstream white community is that when they want to look for Muslims, they look for people who look like Muslims.
Mm-hmm.
So let me give you an example. The number one author, best-selling author in the United States and Canada for the last 2 years is a Muslim.
Mm-hmm.
Khalid Hosseini, a physician who's written The Kite Runner.
Mm-hmm.
You don't depict him as a Muslim because he's too good looking.
Yes.
The highest selling poet in all of North America is the medieval poet Rumi.
Mm-hmm.
The most popular man in the United States is Muhammad Ali, the boxer.
Mm-hmm.
So now all these people I've mentioned are thoroughly integrated, are interweaved in society, and enjoy a ball game as much as any other American or Canadian. So we pay a very heavy price for having integrated in society.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, these imams who wear strange clothes and talk in guttural accents and wear religion on their sleeves, or wear strange turbans or headgears or costumes, they're immediately recognized.
Yes.
So it is quite natural for a reporter or someone to say, well, I want to speak to Muslim. They're not going to go to the top model who's a Muslim or an author or a musician who's a Muslim. They're going to go out and look for the guy who's strange enough and is dressed in regalia and say, well, that must be a Muslim.
Mm.
So what I'm suggesting to you is that 90% of American and Canadian Muslims are not associated with any mosque.
Mm-hmm.
They are more likely to be members of political parties than they are to be expected to be members of a mosque.
Mm-hmm.
And so when Mr. Bush or other politicians in Canada want to meet with Muslims, who do they meet? They pick up these mosque leaders and parade them for White House breakfast or with the Prime Minister.
Yeah.
They don't go to a chartered accountant firm or go to KPMG or the editor of Newsweek, Fareed Zakaria.
Yes.
I mean, in a country where one of the top managers is a Muslim, how can you say it is an anti-Muslim society?
Yes. No, I think you've